Hello, true believers. This is Doc Hogg, and welcome to episode 57 of Comics and Variety. If you like this channel, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified when I post new videos, and for the sake of YouTube's search algorithm, please do hit the like button. Alrighty, moving on to CyberFrog, which of course is illustrated and written by Ethan Van Sciver. I would describe it this way. Solid plot, good cliffhanger, and just some absolutely wonderful art. If you didn't know who Ethan Van Sciver was, you'd look at this and you'd say that it's definitely someone who's been in the comic book industry a while. And I should also mention the colorist here, Kyle Ritter, because he has also done a fantastic job. The plot is pretty easy to summarize, which is always good for a comic book, and it's a cyborg frog is put on Earth to save humans from blood-sucking wasps called these guys. Now, the story starts with this cyborg creature that we will later come to know as Kel Sin. She is coming to Earth to give birth to two warriors who will fight the bad guys. Unfortunately, she lands in New Jersey, or more accurately, she lands in the woods in New Jersey where there are no human beings. And this matters because to give birth to these warriors, she's going to have to combine her eggs with some life forms that are nearby. And since there are no humans, she uses a frog and a salamander. Now, the frog, of course, becomes CyberFrog. His actual name is Trick Ron. And the salamander, who will later become known as Sal, his name is... And yes, that really is his name. I thought that was kind of clever. Now, Kel Sin will have sort of a cyber link with CyberFrog. She can give him all sorts of powers that he will need to fight the bad guys. And but it's a strength, but as we will see, it's also a weakness. So she sends CyberFrog and Sal out into the world because the bad guys are about to invade, and CyberFrog starts to fight them. But meanwhile, Kel Sin has kind of exposed herself to the bad guys, and she gets attacked, and that sort of breaks the cyber link between her and CyberFrog. And now CyberFrog is in trouble. He jumps on this truck, and it leads to an explosion, which hurts him greatly. He goes into the water, and this sort of cocoon kicks in to heal him. And when he emerges, this is what he sees. Now this is just an awesome double splash page. Just, wonderful detail here. And you get a lot of these kinds of splash pages in this book. Just absolutely great art. This one here is, in my opinion, the best one, but they are all quite good. So the cocoon has healed CyberFrog, and as he emerges, he wonders how long he's been down there. And the comic book answers this by having CyberFrog track down Heather, who is this woman that he had befriended earlier in the book. He finds Heather hiding in the woods from the bad guys. And the answer to how long CyberFrog has been down in the water, well, Heather now has a daughter that looks like she's about 10 years old. And that's a great cliffhanger. I mean, it leaves you wondering kind of, what's going to happen next. Clearly, the wasps have taken over the world. You also wonder what's happened to Kel Sim. You also wonder what happened to Dadu Ron Ron. He was, attacked by a swarm of hornets. It's just really a good cliffhanger. Now, Van Sciver has included what looks to be some social commentary in this. Whether it was intended as social commentary, well, you'll have to ask Van Sciver himself. Certainly, it will not make the SJWs very happy. Now, I have two main criticisms of CyberFrog. All right, the first problem is with the main battle scene. CyberFrog and Sal are headed toward the bad guys, and CyberFrog tells Sal, you let me handle Rumblebee. And it's clear from the dialogue here that CyberFrog and Rumblebee have some sort of history, but what is that history? This is the first time we're seeing Rumblebee, and without knowing the backstory, it comes off as a little confusing. My second criticism is that the story felt a little thin, and initially I couldn't quite figure out why. I counted the pages, and of actual pages that contribute to the story, there's 58 of those. Okay, and yeah, that's excluding, say, the transition pages that say part 1 or part 2. And but I'm like, 58 pages, why does that feel thin? And when I looked it over a little more carefully, I found that you actually have, depending on how you count it, roughly about 14, maybe 15 splash pages or double splash pages. And so there's fewer pages that have lots of panels and really drive the story along. And well, because of that, I think that's kind of what made the story feel a little thin. I think it would have seemed more meaty had Van Sciver extended out the battle scenes a little more. Add to that. But that's about it. Overall, I really did enjoy this. Like I said, good plot, very good cliffhanger, and the art is just absolutely wonderful, and I am really looking forward to issue 2. Okay, that music means that it's time for Hogg's Headlines, all the news that Doc Hogg wants to report on. Since this video is about Ethan Van Sciver, I figured I'd go back a few months and find an old Hogg's Headlines that deals with our subject matter. So here it is, and enjoy. That music means that it is time for Hogg's Headlines, all the news that Doc Hogg... Uh-oh! Dateline, SJWs prove that Ethan Van Sciver is a fascist. Comic book veteran and creator of the comic CyberFrog has been found out by Aaron Alvarez. As he showed in this tweet, Van Sciver's tattoo is really a swastika in disguise, and that must mean that Van Sciver is secretly a Nazi. After seeing this, I realize that there are Nazis in disguise everywhere. For example, this flooring company. And this investment firm. I'll bet Ethan Van Sciver puts his money there. And then I found the biggest hidden Nazi of all. I'll bet Van Sciver shops there. Well, I was very grateful. If not for Twitter, I wouldn't have known any of this. Unfortunately, I guess it must have been overwhelming for Aaron Alvarez after I made him aware of all these fascists in disguise. Uh-oh! It's now seeping into the comic book industry. War of the Realms creator Jason Aaron has one of those tattoos. This is so disturbing. I'd tell you to have a nice day, but you really should be running down to your basement to hide. They're everywhere. Okay, that's all for now. Until next time, have a very nice day. His name is... Run, run, run,